Hi, everyone. Love having you here. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Hiking Fools, guiding you through the trails of Glacier National Park with a little unique personal insight. And today is for those of you that have maybe never hiked in Glacier National Park. You're planning your trip, or maybe you moved to this area recently and you just haven't explored much. And so we're going to give you a little bit of an introduction to hiking in Glacier, kind of hiking in Glacier for first timers or hiking for beginners. So it's going to be fairly basic. If you know the area, it might be a good reminder. But if you're brand new to Glacier, this is the episode for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about where to go and what to bring and how to access things and when to go. What are the best times and the things we love. And even in the end, why? Why Glacier National Park? So the what, when, who, where, why. We are the who. We are telling you more about where to go. So a general overview of hiking. You need to know the regions or the areas of the park. Sarah, we've got 5 or 6 main regions or areas running from the northwest to the northeast. You've got the North Fork area, the Lake McDonald Valley, the southern sector, up and around to Two Medicine area and up to Many Glacier, and even up further into the Belly River. So that was kind of a counterclockwise, starting from the northwest outline of Glacier National Park. Each provides something different. Sarah's talked a lot about how the west side of the park is totally different than the east side of the park in terms of formations and climate and rock and even the trails and some of the elevation. But the whole of Glacier is just a fantastic place to explore. So Sarah, do you have a favorite? What's your favorite region of the park?
I would say Many Glacier.
Many Glacier.
Yep.
So many people do say that. And why is that? I
I love everything about Glacier, but Many Glacier just tends to, what is it? Why do I like it? I love the trails in the Many Glacier Valley. I love how dramatic the mountains are from that viewpoint if you're standing at the hotel. I also love the Lake McDonald area. That holds a special place in my heart because that's where we met years ago. But if you had to twist my arm and force me, I would have to say Many Glacier.
Many Glacier, you got some favorite hikes for sure, and I encourage you to check out some other episodes. We've got, Iceberg Lake, Grinnell Glacier, Cracker Lake, and then coming over from Swift Current Pass. So check out some other episodes. If this is you and are just starting to explore and you want to explore that region, we've got episodes on all of the trails in that area. So, Sarah, the east versus the west is a big deal. And even the wildlife, the flora, the fauna, grizzly bears versus black bears, where they generally congregate. Many Glacier is a big place for grizzly bears, so be aware of that. And check out some episodes on bear safety and awareness that we've had some experts on the show to help us all out.
And to be clear, grizzly bears can be found anywhere in any region of Glacier National Park. They tend to like a little bit more on the east side. Just there's a lot more prairie. They're digging, and
it's more their natural habitat, right?
Yeah, it is. But grizzlies can be found anywhere because they're going to go after berries when they're low, in the valley, and that can occur on either side of the Continental Divide. And then this time of year, we're recording in July. We've got the Army cutworm moths, which have flown in from the prairie lands, and they've come up here to escape the heat into the high elevation terrain, and that draws the grizzlies up high, and they get really, a lot of protein and fat from them.
They've got enough other stuff to eat. Don't be scared away. Take precaution and understand that it is a real threat, and you need to have a respect for wildlife in the wilderness. But if you have some awareness, it's also wonderful to see these creatures. A lot of people come out looking for them.
It's important to make a lot of noise. And I would say the bear bells, they're not super effective, but if you're determined not to say a word on the trail, it's better than nothing. But we have a running joke that when we're hiking together, especially just the two of us, if we're communicating, having a conversation, we talk really, really loud to one another. It actually sounds like we're going to fight, but we're not. We just want to make the bears known that we are here because surprising a bear is the worst thing you want to do. And the bears in Glacier are used to people, and generally, even when they hear you, they don't always move off of the trail. So it's good that they just know that you're there, because guess what? They're traversing the trail just like you are. Is that easier for them than going into the thick brush? Absolutely. So you will encounter wildlife on the trail. So it's good to make a lot of noise. The whistles that are on your pack, not always the greatest thing either. So talking is good.
Sure. Everybody wants to see the bears. They're looking for a bear. Have you seen a bear? When do they let the bears out? We've got to cover bears, but we also, that's one big part of Glacier. But what to bring, what to check out according to us, and what to bring is a big deal. You got to have good shoes and a backpack, trekking poles, water, a filter, poncho. Sarah, I've got a nickname, Mr. Quick Dry, because I found out, years ago that the clothing they wear makes such a difference in terms of your pleasure of hiking. So get something that's moisture wicking.
I don't have a trail name. I've been hiking in the park for how long? I don't have a trail name. What should my trail name be? We might have to talk about it.
We will. Or we'll take suggestions too. But there's a lot of things. Yeah, bring what you need. There's a lot of seasonal considerations, rain gear, gator, snow gear, whether you want to bike to get to where you want to be. So Glacier is open all year, and each season provides something different. And so make sure you have what you need for your adventure. So there's a few ways to access the park too. There's a shuttle system, the recreation.gov website. You get a lot of these things. There's a lottery for backcountry sites. There's permit offices. So you kind of need to, there's a lot of planning that goes into it, Sarah. We live right here. We can pop into the park for a day, but if you're visiting for a week and have, choices to make, need to make sure that you look at the NPS website to know what trails are closed, what closures and areas are affected, so that you don't plan around that. You want to spend a little bit of time in each side of the park. If you
mentioned the backcountry lottery. How far in advance do you need to do that?
The lottery usually a couple of months. Lottery usually opens up in March, and you're getting campsites for June, July, August. And so it's months in advance. That's the kind of thing. So start of the year, if you're coming to Glacier in the summer, which is the recommended time, July, August are the busy months, the hot months, hot as in like popular. And so, or sometimes, this week at the recording of this episode, 95 degrees. And so it can get hot in Montana, but upper in elevations, sometimes from the Flathead Valley, the approaching area, it's 10 degrees cooler in the park and 10 degrees cooler than that up in some of these higher elevations. So you just need a lot of different things and a lot of layers. But
I would say sunscreen is right up there with bear spray, because you are up high in elevation, so your exposure to the sun, you're a little closer, and the heat index is a little bit more. But as Josh mentioned, if you're in Kalispell and it's 95 degrees, chances are it's in the 80s or even 75 or, something up at Logan Pass. But it's still warm. That sun is hot, and it will burn your skin quickly.
Yeah, you're a little closer to it. Logan Pass itself, 66, 46, almost 7,000 feet, and it makes a difference. So you've got to be prepared. Check out Essential Equipment for Day Hikes. It's another episode that we recorded, and it takes you from head to toe, the things that you might need as a hiker in Glacier, and that's even a more complete list. And we keep referencing, other shows that we have, because we have dug deeper into these, and there are some places that are a must check out according to us. Many Glacier Valley, we already mentioned, the Highline Trail is worth the trip. And some of the traverses or the passes through the park, Sayee Pass, Swift Current Pass, Gunsight Pass, some of those hikes, check them out. There's the other thing I want to say is there are hikes for every able and level. I mean, there's things that are ADA accessible and that are beautiful, and there are hikes that are, Avalanche Lake is 4.5 5 mile round trip, with somewhat minimal elevation gain, and then you get into the 10 to 15, mile realm, and then you can go farther than that if you want in a full day. And as we've heard, it's only for the most fit and adventurous, hiker. But the point is there's something for everybody in Glacier for the entire party. Some things you can do together, some things you can branch off.
There's some great books out there too, day hiking in Glacier National Park, and they categorize them by ability and how difficult they are.
Yeah, for sure. So. Great resource. Jake Bermonte's Hike 734 maps are excellent. He was on the show. Check out his episode to learn more about that. But we've got plenty more to talk about. Hopefully you're feeling good about entering Glacier. You've got some of the areas, the regions, what to bring, what you'll see, what to be aware of. And when we come back from a break, we've got some more information about how to access it and when to go.
Freedom Bank isn't the biggest bank in the world, but neither is Glacier National Park, and look how incredible it is. We believe small can be mighty. We know your name, we know your goals, and we bring the banking tools you need, no matter if you live in Columbia Falls, Kalispell, or halfway up Grinnell Glacier Trail. Proud sponsor of Hiking Fools. Let's climb higher together. Member FDIC.
For everything summer in Montana, think Snappy's. Snappy Sports Center is not only your fishing and hunting headquarters, they're also stocked with hiking boots, backpacks, camping gear, bear spray, and outdoor clothing for the whole family. Located on the corner of Highways 2 and 35 on your way to Glacier Park and away from the traffic on Highway 93. Forgot something? They probably have it. Need something? They definitely have it. Skip the traffic and stock up on adventure with Snappy Sports Center, a store like no other since 1947.
Welcome back, everyone. We are the Hiking Fools, talking to those of you who are interested in Glacier. It's an introduction. It's for first-timers and beginners, but you might be, even if you've hiked all over every other place in the mountains, still some of this is helpful to understand Glacier National Park here in Northwest Montana specifically. And before the break, we were talking a little bit about accessibility, and the park has a lot to offer for everyone in the group, families, extremists, and even those of you who just want to sightsee. I mean, there's so many pull-offs on the Going to the Sun Road. It's one of the most scenic byways in the country and maybe in the world. And there's plenty of places to just get a great view. There's some smaller trails, less elevation gain. Consider all of those things. Look at the mileage, look at the elevation gain or loss, and look at the ratings. I mean, even our shows and hikes will label moderate, easy, moderate, strenuous. But give yourself credit too, because, some of those mid-range hikes that are some of the best. An example, being Iceberg Lake is 9 miles round trip, 9 to 10 miles round trip. And you can do that. You can do that if you just prepare a little bit. Take a walk before you come here. Get yourself in a little bit of shape, but don't sell yourself short, because some of these hikes in Glacier allow enough time and you can really enjoy it. Get going early. If you're staying right near the park, then that should be easy enough to do. Remember to try to navigate the shuttle system that runs within the park. The National Park website, nps.gov, and also recreation.gov are great places to get permits, to scout, and to understand what's open and what's closed and what you may or may not be able to do during your visit. But we want to encourage you, at whatever level you think you are, you can do a lot of the best hikes in Glacier Park. That's why it's known as a hiker's paradise. The best times to be in Glacier, we would have to agree with most of the resources out there that July is the height of the season. August is great. If you live around here, September is a terrific month to access the park. Sometimes it's cooled off a little bit, and Glacier is full of aspen trees, and outside in the southern sector of Glacier, western larch trees. So things are turning. It looks different. Water levels are up or not. Snow pack looks different, and so every season is terrific. Take into consideration smoke, wildfire smoke that sometimes rolls into the valleys later in the season when it gets hot and dry in August and September. But smoky air, don't care. Always go, and you can make the most of it. It always looks different, and it always looks beautiful. And best time to go in the summer, but don't forget, you can go, in the springtime, you can bike the Going to the Sun Road. And in the winter, there's plenty of places to snowshoe or cross-country ski.
I just want to play off a little bit of your smoke conversation. Just if you are sensitive to things like smoke, if you have COPD or whatever, asthma maybe, just check the AQI level and make sure that it's okay for you to be out there all day long and exerting yourself in the smoke. Because even us who don't have that, I tend to have a headache by the end of the day if I'm out there and I'm stubborn and I'm like, I'm going on this hike anyways. It will dry out your throat and you will get a headache. So just be mindful of that.
That's true. AQI, Air Quality Index. So there's a great scale. You can check out, those that might be sensitive to it. Be sure that you do that. July, August is a great time to be here, but consider too, depending on your adventures, access to the park. Many Glacier Valley, we mentioned as one of our favorites. That's one of the last to melt and, to open up. And going to the Sun Road is not always open early in the season. Sometimes it's late June or even just into July. That has happened. So if you're planning a hike, make sure you know that you can access that region and that the trailhead is going to be a place that you can get to, because that can really ruin a trip, right? You're thinking, I wanted this hike. I love this hike. I'm going to do this hike. The Highline Trail here this year didn't open until when? I mean, it wasn't open until
maybe a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago.
So early July. July, beginning of July. So you just need to make sure that there are a lot of considerations in Glacier, but it's worth it. Sarah, one of the greatest things about Glacier is the wildlife. People come to see, I call it the Big Five. That's in Africa, they've got whatever, the Big Five, Big Six. But in Glacier, we've got bears and goats and wolves and bighorn sheep and elk and moose, and there's just so much to see. But there are a lot of considerations. We've got to give these animals respect. It's their terrain, not ours. What are some things to think about?
Yeah, so some of the bigger animals, you got the bears and the wolves. They want you to stay at least 100 yards from them. There's reasons for that, safety issue. Moose and the birds, mountain goats, bighorn sheep, about 25 yards. In my opinion, I think you need to stay a little further away from moose because they can be pretty unpredictable too.
Oh man, they're so big.
Yeah, so that's really important. And then also to not leave your backpack unattended. I see some people that will drop their pack to scamper up something that seems really difficult, but they know they don't need their things. That's a big no-no. Even biking the road in the spring, some people will deposit their pack, walk away for a minute to take a picture, and that's a perfect opportunity for a bear to come in and sample any sort of food. Any food unattended is a big no-no. So make sure you keep your pack on you at all times.
Yeah, in the campsite, on the trail, whatever it is.
Yep.
And there's a lot of camping in Glacier, both front country and back country. But Sarah, some safety considerations. So stay a safe distance from wildlife. Don't leave your pack unattended. What else?
And another thing, dogs are allowed in the park, but they are generally not allowed on the trails. So make sure you do your research on that. There's good reason for that because they can promote some negative encounters between bears and dogs. So just know that.
There are some exceptions. So
yep.
Look into it and see what you need. But generally speaking, not on hiking trails in Glacier.
If you're looking to spot wildlife, I would say some of the best spots to spot wildlife in the park, if you're a wildlife person like I am, would be up at Logan Pass and hiking the Hidden Lake Trail. Anywhere in the Many Glacier Valley, I feel like is a great opportunity. The Highline Trail is a good place to spot wildlife as well. Two Medicine is awesome for moose. Mm-hmm. They generally like that area as well. So
wolves you probably won't spot, but they reside more in that North Fork area.
Wolves can be anywhere in the park, but where we have heard them or encountered them have usually been in the North Fork, and you're pretty lucky if you get to. And we have yet to see a mountain lion. We've hiked thousands of miles in Glacier and have never seen a mountain lion. So I wish you luck on that.
Mm-hmm. It'd be cool to see one on our terms, we always say. I'd love to see a bear today on our terms from a distance. But Glacier National Park with the wildlife, the cross-section of flora and fauna, the wildflowers, some 200 species of wildflowers right there at Logan Pass. The ecosystem is totally unique, almost in the world, right? The things that have come together right in this little pocket in this corner of the world, Glacier National Park. You've got 734 plus miles of trails, of named trails. A lot of the sections are on the CDT, the Continental Divide Trail. And so if people are traveling through hikers, you might see them. It's kind of fun to chat about what they've seen. But if you're heading south to north, that it ends in this beautiful place. There's so much history with the Blackfeet traditions, indigenous peoples around this area. The naming, the significant points in the park, the historical significance of Glacier is a really neat thing to know and understand.
And even the going to the Sun Road, what an engineering feat that was to build that road. So it's really awesome to be able to drive that and imagine what it may have taken to construct this marvel. And if you love the wildflowers, I would say Logan Pass is a great place to to see that. It's also named the Hanging Gardens up there. Over, as Josh mentioned, over 200 different species of wildflowers throughout the warming season will bloom there. I would also say on the Cy Pass Trail, if you're in the Preston Park area, that's another great place to see wildlife. Pagan Pass is another place too. It's also called Floral Pass up there. I mean, a lot of the trails have wildflowers, but those are probably the most dominant.
The sights, where you're getting a flavor for this. The sights, the smells, the sounds. We've talked a lot about the animals, the things you can see, the songbirds. The lakes and rivers, and the totally unique color of some of these. The crystal clear waters, everything that Glacier offers. It's hard to take in one trip, but some of the hiking trails offer almost all of it, and so that's why it's totally worth it. Well, we hope this has been a pretty decent introduction to Glacier. Dig in deeper. There are plenty of resources out there. We've mentioned a few. Our episodes, other Hiking Fools episodes, talk a little bit more detail about some of the best hikes. Find something that suits you. If we may, we invite you out to Glacier National Park. Hope to see you on the trail. And if you've never been here, you've got to come. If you're interested, check out our Instagram page at Hiking Fools MT to see some great photos from our recent adventures. Generally, we're posting some of the views that you can see, these vistas that are just unbelievable. You see on a calendar or a magazine. You can get there. And tune in next time. Also, check out more of our episodes. And remember to follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. I'm Josh.
And I'm Sarah.
And we are the Hiking Fools, encouraging you to always go.